Rolling through the block, chain slinging heavy clout. Spitting on the mic, what's the latest, what's about? Politicians tripping, headlines flipping out. In the heart of the South, where the whispers turn to shouts. Meetings in the shadows, hustlers making plans. Deals going down, gripping tight, shaking hands. City buzzing loud, news dap in demand. Dirty South vibe, deep roots, dirty land. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or a tale of sin. Dirty South, living thick skin, thick skin. Rappers on the come up, topics in their rhymes. Truth spilling raw, cutting through the grime. Events popping off, party scenes in their prime. Southern nights wild, about to lose track of time. Headlines breaking, cities heartbeat racing. Discussions, heavy heads nodding syncopation. From the bodega gossip to the mayor's dictation. Southside stories, raw truth, no hesitation. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or a tale of sin. Dirty South, living thick skin, thick skin. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or a tale of sin. Dirty South, living thick skin, thick skin. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or a tale of sin. Dirty South, living thick skin, thick skin. Dirty South, living thick skin, thick skin. Dirty South, living thick skin, thick skin. Rappers on the come up, topics in their rhymes. Truth spilling raw, cutting through the grime. Events popping off, party scenes in their prime. Southern nights wild, about to lose track of time. Headlines breaking, cities heartbeat racing. Discussions, heavy heads nodding syncopation. From the bodega gossip to the mayor's dictation. Southside stories, raw truth, no hesitation. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or a tale of sin. Dirty South, living thick skin, thick skin. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or a tale of sin. Dirty South, living thick.
Hey, what's good? What's good? Hey, we'd like to welcome y'all to another episode of Drop By Discussion, number 35. It's your host, OGDoDirty, and
what's going on? It's your guy, Resla over here. I can't believe 35, man. We are coming to 35.
Yeah, man, we coming up in the world, man. Hey, man, appreciate everybody in this thing. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and drop this link for those who want to come up. We already got 2 guests in the back, so we appreciate everybody that's showing up. Let me get to it real quick. And I'm going to pin it to my channel. Reza have the link pinned to his channel. For those who want to come up, you can just hit the link. Come on up and join, have a discussion with us. It's pinned on the OGDoDirty side of the game.
Pinned on my side.
All right. And then we bring our first 2 guests up. We got Marcus and we got Mayo in the back. What's cracking with you, my good sons?
What's up, man?
Man, another night, another night.
Yes, sir.
Locksmith
just found an interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
Just found an interesting video. It's, the daily finds of Doge in the U.S. government.
Okay.
And wasted money. I put it in the back, sir.
That's what's up. Locksmith German said, hit that like button, subscribe, it's free. And let's go. Appreciate you, big player in the building. Appreciate you. Already. I don't even know how to say that. I don't want to blot your name. You know what I'm talking about? Like real talk. Marcus in the back. Like real talk. I was about to botch that shit all the way. A crazy mama in this thing. You know what I'm saying? Miss Thing is in this thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. Appreciate you for coming through. You know what I'm saying? Is that Chris? Lyric? Appreciate you. Thank y'all for coming through. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share it out. If you want people to come over here and join the conversation with us, we do not mind if you share it out. And make sure you leave a comment or something when the video is over with. What's good with you, my good sons?
Not much. Just another day out here in the world of content, man. This YouTube streets are all over the place. Some people are beefing. Some people are just chilling. Some people don't know what's going on. A lot of people are trying to make up a lot of a lot of distance, a lot of gains for this year. 2025 has been very, very unexpected for a lot of people.
Yep. That's no lie. I mean, I think people got to come up with original content, man. That's what's going to bring people in. I'm about to start focusing on more of that myself, but, you know, it's just certain things that we got to work on. What you think, Marcus and Mayo?
Hello. No, man. I agree. I just can't. I just get one out of it. Just get one out there. If you're watching, you know who you are. But man, yeah, like I said, real quick, just subscribe to these guys' channels, support them. All the genuine content they have, a lot of the actual stuff they're doing. I'm trying to stream away from certain things and actually move up and just prosper. And you know, hopefully you guys hit the notification bell, like, share, subscribe, hit the CashApp, PayPal, Venmo, Vimeo, whatever, super chat. But it just depends, though. It depends on what kind of engaging topics you want to guys talk about, because there's a plethora of stuff you guys can go down the lane just to be serious and stuff. Like you can do anything: sports, political, gaming, entertainment, media, even like work, trade, like money, investments. You know, a plethora of different things.
Okay.
I want to.
Go ahead, Russ.
So I didn't do this. I didn't do this early because I didn't saw a whole lot of stuff that was coming up. But I just want to actually thank everybody who's actually just gone up to me, who's actually followed me over on Twitter. It's something I really need to pay attention to a lot more. But I just want to thank everybody who's actually subscribed on Twitter.
Hey, make sure you drop that in the chat real quick, bro, so I can grab it, so I can make sure I'm added to you on Twitter.
I really need to pay a little bit more attention to it, to be honest with you. But I want to thank everybody who's actually done so. I was like, wait, who are these people? And I was like, oh shoot, that's not playing. They actually, again, new thing in the world. Shut up, you. I'm trying to get my whole thing together.
Yeah, I really want to know why people was in the chat. Do y'all like when we play the videos on the drop-by discussion, or do y'all like just the discussions that we have? I don't know how to do the polls yet. I haven't got preview to all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really put one on my page, but I really want to know, because I like finding videos and finding discussions, but it seems like we have a good discussion either way it go if we don't even show videos.
Right. I mean, and not for nothing, if you have particular things that you wish to, bring to our attention, because not like we see everything in the world. Everybody's algorithm is different. But if you think it's something that is worth discussing, you know how to hit us up. It is both our emails are up in the description. Be sure to actually, link us up with your stuff so that we can take a look at it, and it might actually become a discussion here on the channel.
That's a whole fact. What's up with it, cousin Lawrence?
So what did you guys want to talk about?
This man over here started with me. He's already starting with me. It's already starting with me.
If you ain't got haters, you ain't doing it right? That's what you say, I think. Is there any way that you guys can kind of break down kind of the avenues you want to go down, or certain areas you want to? Because I've always told people too, and this is just me, you don't gotta follow my advice, same as I do with anybody else. I told you, take it with a grain of salt if you want, but I always say that don't limit yourself to one type of hole. Or one doorway, because that's just going to be like the only one. It's going to be limited at a certain point. It's going to fizzle out. But is there like other different areas or sections you want to add on to your channel or your content?
You want to tackle that one first, OG?
All right, I'll tackle it first. I had already did it. It's just been a cold season for me right now. We've been having a lot of snow. A lot of freezing water and shit, so I can't really get out there and fish like that. But most of my content, bro, is about to get switched over. Springtime coming. We about to get a lot of rain. Most of the fish been dormant. So, I mean, they ain't been eating as much as they used to. Most of them been lost weight. So my plan is to hop back on my fishing page, bro, and get him as scrap as I can. I want that channel to be way more than my OGDoDirty channel. That's what I'm more passionate in. My Do Dirty channel, bro, is for weed, conversation, and panels. You know what I'm saying? And making sure I do this show because I love doing the drop. I love coming on here, having discussions with everybody on different topics. And we do that over on the porch. But on my page, personally, I like to talk about weed, music, you know what I'm saying, different things that's happening. So I'm using my OGDoDirty page for the communication part, to get out there, have panels and stuff like that. But on my Eyes TV page, where I do my fishing, that's going to be a truly show.
Okay, so 106 in Park, medicinal marijuana, and Bass Pro Shops. Okay, get you.
There you go. There you go. See, now you're thinking. Now you're using your brain topics.
I feel you. You know, it's not that cold over here, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. You's always warm where you is. Yeah.
Like, it can get cool sometimes here. All right, it may be a desert, but it can get cool sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Reza, what about you?
For me, it's been a little bit different. For me, it's about just revamping the kind of content I do. Make it a little bit more engaging, a little bit more entertaining for a lot of the people. Because a lot of people get to see me on other people's channels, and they go, "This is not the way you are on your channel." And I get it. I've been very structured for a lot of work, so I think I'm going to start cutting loose a little bit, just a little bit, because we never know who's watching. In the same ways, I've been giving you guys a lot of myself, so I need to start being a little bit more strict in some ways and a little bit more open in other ways. I want to start opening up a little bit more of what I do on the side, so like gaming and things like that. And I know OG and I have also been thinking about expanding our platforms as well, so we might be looking towards other areas, maybe like Discord or maybe other channels or other platforms. So you never know. We've been trying to put this thing all together. LA, what's going on, my guy?
What's up, LA?
What up, y'all? Good with LA.
What's up, man?
Well, that's what I'm trying to be like right there. That's what I'm trying to be like, LA.
What?
With my YouTube shit. Basically, I'm trying to take it with you, which I didn't see you in Stove. You know what I'm saying? You basically got two channels, right? No, because man, say I didn't see this man start a whole channel, and I didn't see him work hard. Like when people say you got to work hard to get your subscribers, I seen it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
No
I start that Thin Black Line channel, bro, and I seen that motherfucker have 100 and something. I seen him go up to the number he is now, bro, and the work that he put in, bro. I feel like he should have way more than what he had, but I mean, he worked hard for those numbers, bro, and I gotta be able to do the same thing if I want the same numbers. That's all I'm saying.
I know what you mean. I was sitting there just looking at my own analytics and a lot of people that I frequent or I talk to from time to time, and I'm like, damn, I've seen people who are like, their numbers have like tripled, quadrupled in just a year, and I'm like, I've been a little over a year. I've had a real steady growth, and I understand that, but damn, like the way how they have jumped, how they have catapulted is amazing to me. And I'm just like, what's happening here? Is it y'all really don't rock with me? But it is what it is. I am very grateful of those who have been around me. But I'm just like, damn, I thought we were supposed to be out there and reaching hearts and minds. What's going on?
You gotta be with the bullshit. People want to hear the bullshit. That's what everybody want to hear these days.
Unfortunately, but to be honest with you, even though people want to hear the bullshit, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to grow, because quite frankly, there's someone who's already been doing the bullshit better than you are, longer than you are.
So if I can ask then, Resident OG, let me ask LA, do you plan on moving your channel, or not all your channel, but just opening up another doorway to like a different sector of content, whether it's like gaming or entertainment or sports or other stuff, like workshop, money, investment, travel, vlogging?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you always got to be willing to pivot. So yeah, definitely.
Right. So are you gonna make a separate channel? Or are you gonna add it to your channel, like on your list or playlist?
Your channel. That's the thing. YouTube, they put everybody in categories. So if you got a bunch of bullshit down there, they won't know where to put you. So you kind of a hostage to them.
Yeah, he's not lying. I've been doing this for over a year. They still don't have a niche for me. They have no idea where I'm at.
They put you in the undisclosed, like the unknown or other?
They put me under people at one point, but then they also kind of switched me to entertainment. They don't really know where to put me. there's no place for someone like myself because I haven't stuck to one thing.
Gotcha.
And see, that's what I'm learning, and that's why I said when probably like I say, it's gonna be like in another 2 weeks because we got snow on the ground. But shit, nigga, once that snow leave, bro, and that sun start coming out, and I start getting them 65 to 70 days. Oh yeah, I'm out there.
So yeah, so this is the thing that I realized too with a lot of content creators is yes, the whole BS or like the quote unquote dysfunction or the drama, does it have its entertainment at some point in value? Sure. But it does fizzle at some point because like Reza says, someone will and always will do it better than you. And so my thing is there's many forms of helping people engage and entertain. So you know, like OG says, I'm about music. There's a huge market in that, especially for YouTube. That's part of the reason why YouTube even got famous was people posting videos and playing music and stuff. And then on top of that, Rez, you said something about video gaming, of course. Like video gaming is always going to have a huge market, that huge engagement, because it's a multi-million, if not billion-dollar industry too, just like music. Yeah.
Yay and nay, because also that niche has been out for quite some time, so people definitely have a lot of their favorites already. Like, let's just say about like Twitch. Twitch has already been big for the video game market for so long. If I started a channel for Twitch now, it would be horrendous for me.
No, but everybody started at zero, though. You know what I'm saying? Everybody started at zero.
I agree with that.
So I just think it's called like the same way you guys have been disciplined or consistent. I think that's what it makes. And the good thing is now you guys actually have overall like a number of people already following and subscribe to you. You just attach all your social media pages or channels they can follow and subscribe to you. Then when you go live and start playing over there, or you post premieres and stuff or pre-recordings, you know, you can do that too. And then I think
my particular aim is to be a breakthrough in an area that's not really celebrated as much, especially as someone who goes live stream. So I think that's it's just very difficult because they're like, what, like YouTube's basically like, what the fuck are you doing? what are you doing?
Yeah, well, I mean that's the formula too. People are trying to find out their niches too, and I always just say just keep your doors open. Like don't keep yourself stuck. Like some people, we know that they're going to be stuck in their ways and they're going to be stuck in their you know, secular holes, and that's gonna be like a black. To me, I feel like it's a black hole sometimes. Like that's gonna be, you're gonna be stuck there, and if they choose not to expand their horizon. So at least you guys, what it sounds like, you guys all have your plans to broaden your horizon. I know what you said about fishing too, pro bass shops, you know, medicinal marijuana type stuff. That's definitely a sector for sure out there somewhere. And then LA.
Chris said he appreciated gaming. He just
Chris, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Here's the funny part about that, Chris. I've seen people who play like the little handheld games, or the little farming games, the dog games, or the pet taking care games by some of these chicks that be, and they have such a big fan base.
Bro, and they suck. They suck, and they're just because they're pretty. That's it.
Well, no, not even pretty. Just people just like watching that shit.
It's because they're wearing a bra and a G-string and some flat and cat ears.
I don't even know about that. Maybe because maybe they just have a cute face and some nice little front and centers on them. But outside of that, you know, I can't say. But people, they get big supporters. So you know, when you see games like Animal Crossing, right? Well, I'm like, yo, why is it you have tens of thousands of subscribers on Animal Crossing? It's because there are some people that appeal to that.
Well, and you're playing it nude in a hot tub.
Yup. Either that or the chair, gaming chair. You know what I'm saying?
Wearing cat ears.
There you go. And then pasties. Don't forget the pasties too, Mayo.
Yeah.
Listen, I think I said this on one of my streams before. I was like, is it because I'm not pretty enough? I'm sorry, folks. I can't stuff a bra for you or anything. I'm sorry. That's just not what's happening. You could, here.
But you know,
no, that I can't. It's just not my thing. And I'm sorry, I can't just get buff overnight and, you know, tell you guys that you are queens and goddesses and the salt of the earth. You know, can't do it. Can't. Not my vibe. Sorry.
Come on, man.
We got another guest coming to the panel. It's good with you,
What's up,
Rick?
What's up, fam? How you guys doing?
What's up, Rick the Dick?
So with all of this stuff that we're talking about and the progression that we're going to do on YouTube, I got a question for y'all. Just Absolutely. Say if we was making a lot of money, yeah, you could join the panel anytime you want to. There, just hit that link that's at the top of the page, and we'll bring you on up, sweetie. You ain't even got to cam up. Just let you know if you do come up here. I usually don't ask. I don't know how Resla feel about it, but I'm pretty sure he feel a little indifferent about it. About people camming up. He really want to see you before you come up here.
I just need to verify that's
you know
all.
Me personally, I don't really trip. If you come up here and show your titties or something like that, you will be on Rumble.
Whoa.
Know that right now.
Wait, let me just say this ahead of time. You want to show your yiddies? Show me your yiddies for verification if you like to. Just to say you're a real person, that you're a real person for research purposes. But after that, you can feel free to be
put the censor bar. Just put that censor bar out there. Disclosure.
Yeah, I don't really trip on shit like that. Don't come up here act ass because I will use your ass to come up. So I will appreciate you if you do it. But yeah, you welcome to come up, Lyric.
That's what they call you, do dirty.
Yeah, anyone free to come up. We just want to make sure that you're the right people who are actually supposed to be up, because people like to troll, people like to pretend to be other people, people like to, basically record other people.
P-bomb.
Exactly that. And we need to be able to be at discretion, especially because OG and I, we both co-host on this. So that means if you're attacking one, you're attacking both of us, and don't think that we're not petty enough to come with vengeance. I don't have a problem. Let me just say this right up. I have no problem banning people. I typically don't. I don't have a problem with it either.
All right. Well, we're not going to watch this video. I just want to pose a question. I want you to read the title. And after we read the title of it, we'll talk about it. Like I said, we don't have to watch the video. I'm going to put it in the back rest. So I just need you to. Well,
I got you.
Matter of fact, I ain't about to play it, so I can pull it up. It shouldn't hurt you. Let me see. Matter of fact, yeah, push the title at the top anyway. Yeah, so I do it. Let me grab just like this here. Do this here. So the title it is. If you see it, it's a little small, and I'll read it off to you. It's 3 million to 25 million to a blank check.
Oh, damn. Okay.
What could you do with a blank check? And what amount would you put on a blank check? Just question to ask, again, 3 million to 25 million to a blank check. What amount would you put on that blank check? And what would you do with it?
All right, Lyric, you don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. Thank you.
Was it going to cash no matter what I put on it?
No matter what you put on it, sir. I mean, I just want to know whatever number you give on there, because like I said, it's 3 million to 25 million to a blank check. That means that nigga, you didn't came up in the world. So if you want to put 500 million on there, I ain't tripping. What would you do with that 500 million though? Whatever amount you put on there, what would you do with it?
Yo, Locksmith, put that away. We're not trying to see that up here.
What's up, motherfuckers?
I was about to drop that nigga. Get him out of here.
No, to be honest, if I could get like anywhere from 500 million to $1 billion, bro, I'd help out all my family. I'd definitely make investments with that money. I wouldn't spend it on like dumb-ish, like, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm being serious though. Like, just because of what I've seen, like, I had money before, like lots of it, and when I had no money at all too. So,
sir, you robbing the old lady on the corner store don't mean shit, man. That's only $500. All
right, well, here comes the DEI high over here. No, but yeah, just being serious, like I take care of family. I definitely do like my proper investments, and then I definitely get like property or land or home.
So you like still drive around in a Prius and shit?
No, hell yeah, just to be incognito. just to be incognito, because why cause myself more attention just so I can get robbed? Why do
He's
that?
not
Like
lying.
I'd be low key about it. I'll drive a damn 1990 Honda Accord. You know us Mexicans, the Acura. You know the
You're not
Acura.
Mexican, sir.
I'm
You're not
American.
Mexican.
I'm sorry. I'm an American who dabbles in Mexican cuisine. All right, but like I said, like I would get that kind of stuff.
Did he admit that he's south of the border? Is that what I just heard right now?
North of the border, son. North of the border.
Yeah.
All right, American born.
We had this argument yesterday.
Oh, okay.
He kept calling himself a Mexican even though he's born here.
I'm American / Mexican. All right. Anyways, no, yeah, but I do stuff like that though, you know, and I mean, because I think about it now, because I've grown and I've matured more, and I've looked into what's important to have like tangible assets and stuff. And I wouldn't just put it for me. I put it for like, if I have a kid in the future, if my mother, sister, siblings, nephews, nieces, stuff like that. And then I wouldn't mind helping out and doing something charitable too, like something an entrepreneur, but also like a philanthropical thing.
I need 500 million. You can do some charity right now, sir.
Not you, sir. You don't definitely need a handout. You're good. You need crystal meth. So
ain't crack.
No, but other than that, yes, just things like that, man. And I definitely wouldn't mind helping out to the cause, like anything like homeless people or something like that too. So
yeah, 500 mil is not enough.
I'd start out a charity getting incels laid. Make the whole country safe.
Can we start off at introverts first?
Incels are more dangerous.
Oh no, I don't want to be a headline for news. Like no negative news.
He's gonna start an incel rehab clinic.
Yes, sir.
You got another guest coming to the panel.
Can I start an illegal incel clinic?
No, sir.
Oh, man.
Only American incels. That's all I'm
That's only American incels. Okay.
Marcus lined up first.
I know. I'll be like, locksmith, I need you in that trailer, man, making that blue meth. All right. Yeah, but I mean stuff like that, yeah, I would, bro. I wouldn't mind it. Definitely want to get like a farm, and I like animals, so I get like a farm and stuff like that too, and livestock, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
D.B.D, what's good, man?
What's good, everybody? How are we?
So I want to hear from Miss Lyric. How you doing, Miss Lyric?
Yeah. What's up, Miss Lyric?
Hello. How are you guys?
Doing all right. So we seen the question was posed. It was 3 million to 25 million to a blank check. What would be your amount on your blank check, and what would you do with that money?
Oh, okay. We were talking about the money. I wanted to come up because I was thinking about what genre that people were going to be in for their YouTube spaces. But as far as money is concerned, I really don't think about money like that. But if I was given money, I'm always like helping the needy and things like that. So I think I would give a lot of money away. And so, I don't know. I think I would probably travel a lot with it to more needier places that needed things and just see what their needs were and help out in places where they needed it most. So, I will be
Come to my house. I need all kinds of shit.
No, you're always worried about food. I would not help you. So
Yo, she a good cook, man.
Yes, he's always worried about food, but I'm learning that he's not very kind all the time. So
I told you, Lyric. He's like a stray cat. Once you feed him, he will never go away.
Yeah.
Yo, she make a whole restaurant. She make a whole menu every night.
Yeah, so I don't think I would feed him. So yeah.
Now Jeremy's his own tent city, homeless tent city.
She could feed that whole tent city in one night. Dead ass.
I would feed them. I do enjoy feeding people. My parents did a lot of missionary work, and very quickly I learned that I was very, very happy in the kitchen and in doing that portion of it. So if I was given an opportunity to have a lot of money, I would definitely give it away. So that's what I would
get in the kitchen, honey. I'm hungry. What are we doing?
I've already been in the kitchen, so that portion of my life is done for the day.
Okay.
Like it. Anybody else?
Yeah, 500 billion, not million, billion with a B.
That's what you greedy. You being greedy, Bricks.
No,
what are we doing?
No, it ain't for me. It ain't for me.
You said 500 billion. What would you do with 500 billion, sir?
That's enough to build the society that I would want. A real free society. I would restructure a government of a state. That's what I would do.
What type of society are you wanting, though?
One that promotes a warranted search and seizure for criminal activity.
Oh, I ain't gonna make it.
What meaning what though?
So I just don't like the way that it's being ran right now. It's unfair to see the way that the system is run right now, and ultimately, basically, when you look at the deficit of the entire United States, somewhere around like the 20 trillion or something like that. Maybe less, maybe a little less than that. Could be a little bit more. It's somewhere in there. But if you take that and divide it up between the states, I mean, you're looking at like 400, 500 billion per state. And I believe like California's got the highest deficit, which is like 500 billion. It's like right on the nose.
Lyric, he's asking for Escape from LA.
Hold on, I'm trying to hear it.
Pretty much it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there obviously, I mean, I would take my own personal portion. I'm gonna be greedy on that, and I would probably send about 50 grand to each one of my personal family members. You know, that's just off the top. That's just me, you know. So yeah, there is that. But what I would do with $500 billion is I would restructure the government so that, and I know it's a wild dream, but a society that promotes a warranted search and seizure, because the way it's done now, yeah, that can happen anytime without a warrant.
So what I just heard in short was he wants to be the mayor of a lawless town.
No, I'm about law and order.
Sounds about right.
I'm about law and order. It's just that right now what we have is not law and order. It's government tells you what to do when they want to.
You think that it would be conducted more so without, you want it conducted more so without the fear portion to it? Is that what you're saying? Because I think now they added with the fear. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of it comes with, like, they add the fear into it.
Yeah.
And then with that fear added into it, like, a lot of things, people still commit crimes, obviously.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I admit that people, you know, there are people who would probably need to be, unfortunately, gunned down in the street, basically, because they're just wild and crazy and lawless themselves. Yeah. So I admit that.
So it's very much like it would be very much like it is today.
Right.
No.
So I'm saying, like, what you're saying, if you had an opportunity to change it into what you wanted, how would you be different? Because I'm sure that the government, how it is now, and I'm not saying that I'm on their side at all. I mean, unfortunately, I've worked for them, and I'm not completely away from them now. I still kind of work for them.
Sure. Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure when the government first started, I'm pretty sure they were like happy-go-lucky and like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this right. And then all of a sudden they got corrupted, because I do believe that money is the root of all evil.
Yes, absolutely.
But
yeah,
I don't.
I
totally don't.
I do. The Bible says it is. But given the opportunity to have it be on your side, and if you had the opportunity how would it not be corrupt if you had that power? Because everybody that's given a certain amount of power, everybody, they start off good, but then it goes bad.
So, Brick,
Well,
do you
what
want
would
to
you use
explain?
for?
Brick, do you want to explain your concept of you cannot arrest without a warrant?
Yeah, I can do that. So obviously, what originally was intended with the Fourth Amendment was that that a warrant would be issued first. Now
Right.
we know that doesn't occur because
That's not what was intended at all.
no, that's actually exactly what it says. No warrant shall be issued except for but upon probable cause, which that means that a judge needs to sign and say this is probable cause.
And that is why we have to call and then place certain things into a warrant to be able to go in and have them issued.
Yeah, but that's specifically for searching house of papers and effects, not arresting people.
No. It actually says persons, papers,
and things,
and
things.
Yeah, and that's where there's going to be a little bit of conflict for a lot of people because the difference between searches and seizing versus.
I'm saying because I still have to wait on them when I issue them in the middle of the night and get medical records and wait on people and stand there and wait for the judge to sign them. And even when I have to get blood specimens and the judge will be like, oh, you didn't add this in there. And I'm standing there in front of somebody's door waiting for them to sign them.
Yeah, no, and I do understand the difficulty of it. So with a warrantless search of a person or seizure of a person, that's called a Terry stop. We all know it to be like the stop and frisk or the there's another way to put, but you know what I'm talking about. That concept was originally a policy, right? And then the Supreme Court back in 1967 ruled that is constitutional, that it is a mere small intrusion upon the person, a very, very small intrusion upon the person's papers, effects, and their person to be able to search and seize them. However, they've compounded and through jurisprudence, other cases have come about. We know Pennsylvania versus Mims and some other ones, right? And so with that said, before that, it was actually policy of the police departments and the sheriff's offices that they would do this anyway until that case. And it actually comes from the fugitive slave laws is where it originated. And so we have chains and cages. We put people, human beings, in chains and cages for very small, minor crimes. Things like stealing, I don't know, a candy.
You're saying that came from slave law?
Yes, chains and cages.
It didn't actually. That came over from Europe.
Yeah, well,
long before.
In the United States, it originated from the fugitive slave.
No, it didn't.
Trade.
It didn't.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
So they didn't have jails in Europe?
They did have jails.
The Iron Maiden didn't exist in Europe before America?
They had prisons.
Which is a torture device? Yes, with bars.
Yeah, so they had prisons, right?
And they chained people up. They put them in stockades in the town.
And so what this country decided to do was to change that system by saying that without a signed warrant by a judge, it's just simply not fair to go ahead and lock people up and put them in chains unless there's a judge signing it. You can't leave that power in the executive branch. And that's why the founders said, you know what, we're going to do away with the old system. We don't like the way it's been going. And we're going to write in this right of the people that they have a right to a fair trial. And with that, they also have the right to not be seized. And so later on, with the slave trade in the early 1800s, slaves were considered less of a person, and runaway slaves were chained and put into cages in the early 1800s when they ran away. Well, after the Civil War,
people were put in cages. White people were put in cages when they committed crimes.
Yeah, human beings, right?
It didn't. I'm just saying it didn't come from slavery.
Right, and so when you committed a crime back in those days, part of your punishment could be to become a slave. That might be a punishment, right? So with the Civil War, no more slaves, okay? But the chains and cages didn't go away, and neither did the fugitive slave laws. And so the policies and procedures of the police departments and sheriffs haven't changed. The laws.
So do you believe in the Constitution?
Yes.
You know the Constitution authorizes slavery for prisoners, right?
Yes, and that is a problem as well. And so that's another thing that I feel like would need to be changed. I mean, see, because we the
people. You're talking about the 13th Amendment, right? Is that what you mean?
Let me talk about your warrant world for a second, okay?
Yeah.
Say someone shoots somebody.
Yeah.
So you would have to go through the warrant process to have them arrested?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Even if the officer saw it?
Yes. Yes.
What the fuck?
Well, here's the thing. So self-defense
this is your impossibility right here.
No. Self-defense is a thing, right? So if the officer witnesses this, right, and he is taking action in defending not only himself and others, then he is not guilty of any crime. Therefore, they may both stand trial, and while they will both receive a warrant for their arrest, because if he is, tackling somebody, there might not be probable cause. When the judge looks at this situation and says, is there probable cause to arrest the officer? No. Is there probable cause to arrest the man that many claim had killed somebody? Yes. The judge is the one to make that decision. Right now, it's the officer on the street.
Are you trying to hold on? Are you trying to eliminate the jury and just have the judge? And are you trying to eliminate the process of the jury and just set this warrant into motion to where they're not going through like jury trial and
basically eliminating due process?
No,
right?
No,
are you?
No. So a warrant would be probable cause. So if like enough credible witnesses said, "Hey, I saw this thing happen,"
right? But what happens? But what happens when a witness is not credible? Or what happens when, number one, what happens when the witness is not credible? Or number two, what happens when the situation is all out of whack? Because mind you, so many things can happen in certain situations.
Yeah, things can happen. I do,
which is exactly how we wound up where we are today.
Exactly, and because mind you, the way that law, the reason why so many things kept getting put into place and they kept adding things into like warrants and laws and policies and situations, things kept getting added because when they had 1-2 steps, it wasn't enough, and they said we got to add something else because this took place. And so they kept adding things, and even when it came to different trials. And so that's why a lot of the times the lawyers and judges, they will go off of different cases and say, remember this case or remember this situation, and they will be mindful of it and add to it because they don't want to make the same mistake, and they want to be mindful of what happened and the mistake that happened within that process, and be mindful of it so that it won't happen again. So I hear what you're saying, and I get that you don't want, bad repetitive stuff happening, but if you stick to one thing, you can make a lot of bad things happen.
I guess
it's basically like sticking to one party system.
Yeah, I guess part of my question is that you say like you want a warrant based on witnesses, and I can totally understand that. I guess the part of the question I'm going to ask you is like, what happens when the crime that is committed is witnessed by that actual police officer, and there's no other witnesses? Are you saying that police officer now has to get a warrant?
Well, so we put a lot of trust into our officers. That they're
I hear you, but I'm not talking about that specific. If the crime is witnessed by the officer, does the officer not able to do an arrest because they now have to turn around and get a warrant?
What happens if that officer is burnt out? What happened if that officer is mentally unstable? What happened if that officer should have taken off 2 months ago? What happens if that officer? I mean, there's so many questions that
I don't mean
what happens if the guy that commits the crime just walks away?
Well, that's why I was very specific. If we're saying that we have to get a warrant because there are witnesses, what if there are no witnesses because the person who actually saw it is the cop themselves? Does that person have to turn around and just say, well, I can't really do much because I got to go get a warrant first? Can they not make an arrest?
Like I don't want to badger you. Like, I don't think that your idea is bad. I don't think it's bad, and I don't want everybody to gang up on you and make it seem like your idea is bad. I'm sorry.
No, I'm used to it, so don't worry about it. It's actually something.
The thing is that it was already tried, and that's how we wound up where we are today.
So yeah, I actually deal with it all the time because I kind of have some pie in the sky ideas of the way that society should be. Whereas that isn't what we have.
Don't feel like that. Like, don't feel like that. I don't think you should stop at, you have pie in the sky ideas. I think that you should definitely reevaluate and go back. And I think that you wanting a different society is not a bad thing. And I mean, just because we're against you, it doesn't mean that we're right and you're wrong.
Well, believe me, you're not against me. No, actually, the funny thing is actually, so I work with certain people who not only want the same thing, but are working towards that goal. There are things that are kind of in the works right now as we look at some of these things that are happening. And we're moving into the future. It's like 2025. You can capture things on video like everybody can, right? So that's why officers have body cams, right? Because people see the problems and they say, these are the things that need to change, right? And so moving away from it is the goal. Obviously, it's not going to happen tomorrow, right? But for now,
the public cameras can't catch everything.
But Rick, I don't even think that the idea of the thing that you're talking about is a pie in the sky idea. I think it's not a new idea. I think you're reverting back to something that used to be, which is why a lot of things needed to have been added on. But again, you're talking about something that you haven't seen because you weren't there alive when it was actually taking place.
No, these things existed. Chains and cages existed. But back at the beginning of this country, yes,
they're exciting.
They existed pretty much from the first time they decided to lock people up.
Right. So
we didn't invent jails in America. We didn't invent chains. Tying people up with chains.
If all you do is ask me a bunch of questions, I can't explain my position. Does that make sense?
Yes,
but you're saying obvious falsehoods in your position.
But you're not listening to anything that I'm saying.
Yes,
you're
I did.
Asking a bunch of questions, Mayo.
No,
you've been doing it since I began to speak. Yes, you specifically, sir, have been doing nothing but asking me a bunch of questions. Yes.
Yes, because I want to get to where you're trying to say.
But listen to answers.
I did.
And if someone else
and you didn't answer that
question too,
and you didn't answer that question,
get their answer, which you don't allow other people to ask questions and then get their answer. Other people have asked me some questions too, and they'd like some answers too. I mean, it's kind of rude.
I just like to make jokes and make people laugh. What's up, Brick and everybody?
What's up, 10th man?
Good with your 10th man.
All right. Before things get into stuff that makes me sad. Brick. What if you were just to guess? I don't know. Have you figured out that I have been watching these videos for a long time yet? I don't know if anybody told you who I am.
I do know
this.
Yes, you are
so,
very aware.
A little bit. So, what percentage
Love you, brother.
of people who have been incarcerated in the past 100 years do you believe were 100% innocent of their crimes? Just like there's no way to prove it, but just what would you estimate?
Oh, if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably a smaller number. I mean, I'm going to give it the universal split, the 80-20, 20% being innocent.
I say the exact opposite, 80% innocent.
Okay, that's interesting.
I've seen too much, dude.
In the 100 years.
When Long Island Audit first started auditing, the cops said if this was 20 years ago, we'd remove his teeth and he'd be in a hole.
Yeah, I didn't consider the 100 years. You're probably right on that. Yeah, because, you know, if we were to say in the past 25 years, yeah, maybe I would be right on the 80-20 the other way. But no, you're probably right, because before, what was it, the civil rights movement, right? Because that changed a lot of things. Yeah, people were getting arrested for absolutely nothing. And on top of that, the laws themselves were absolute trash. And so a lot of that has changed as well. So you're probably right. Yeah.
They purposely get rid of good cops. I can show you 1,000 examples.
Yeah, that part too. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and then, you know, the decent ones as well, they retire early. You know, they choose to get out of it because they know it's either they get pushed out or they actually leave. Yeah, they're like, I'm done with this. So no, you're right. And it kind of works the same way in the military. The lifelong military people typically, you know, are the gung-ho, I want to go to war kind of thing. Whereas the ones who are just like, look, I just want to do my time and then go back to my family. You know, those exist as well. And so, no, you're right. Unfortunately, you know, and like the thing is, so the way I see it is they're paid mercenaries. And I don't mind the idea of having some paid mercenaries.
Who are the paid mercenaries again? Just so you can be the police.
And what definition of mercenary are you using?
Well, the mercenary would be the guy that you pay to carry out your own crimes. It could be any crime, really.
Carry out what crimes? Though, to be just for examples, just for the audience and for us.
Mercenaries perform very specific
extortion.
Crimes.
Crimes. When I say crimes, I don't mean just because it was written into the U.S. code or the statute. I mean like real crimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that guy should not have extorted that person. You know, that guy
kidnapping.
Should not have, taking that person off to a dungeon.
I want to know, how come I've never seen a cop once charged for kidnapping when they have actually kidnapped people? Why, when they took that 10 or 12-year-old little black girl where her mother, I think, had stabbed her father or threatened her father with a knife, and then she was trying to run away, and the cops came, and then they harassed her and then maced her while she was in the back of a car? How come they didn't get charged for kidnapping? They never get charged for kidnapping, right? If they were charged for kidnapping, especially with force, deadly force, with a weapon, stuff like that, that penalty can include death, but they're never charged with these crimes. Why is that? But a father trying to get his child away from an abusive mother, oh, well, that can be charged as kidnapping, right? All these special rules that the peasants have to follow, but the police and the government, they just get to do whatever they want. It's a very interesting dynamic.
Anyone else's thoughts on this particular topic before we just start spiraling into doom and gloom?
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, but I was going to say this, like, yeah, I understand. I agree the majority of the time that the fathers don't get the credit they got to get and that they should get that side. But you also had the other side where, hey, if you want to go get custody of your kid or even 50-50, you can. It also depends on the state too you live in. And on top of that, you know, do we have issues with our system? Absolutely, we do have issues with our system. But there's a certain system set in place, and you got to know how to use it. Play the game before it plays you.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you do have to know how to use it, and it is a game. But I mean, the guy is correct. You know, being an officer, you know, they go in with these charges and they come out not being charged with the charges pending that they go in with. He's not incorrect, and they're officers, and it happens all the time. You know, they might get incarcerated and they might go down for things, but the things that they need to go down for, they never do. And we see it happen all the time, and it's not fair because he's right. A guy can take their biological child across state lines and he's going down and he's staying down. He's going in with those charges and he's going to get charged with those charges. And it's not fair. And it's going to remain unfair. And I think that those are the things that we should be fighting for. And if the little guy is saying that there's things being put in motion, why aren't things like that being put in motion? Why aren't people fighting for things like that?
Yeah, so 500 billion. I would work towards a massive surveillance on all of our government. And that's basically what I would need the money for. And I would try to just do it in one state. I don't have this pie in the sky idea that I'm going to change the whole United States. I would just focus on one state. And I would want all of our government in that state fully surveilled. I want to see what they're doing. That would be
it's just, I watched a guy, I don't know if you guys knew who Chili Potato is, Delete Laws. And I watched him get illegally arrested and put in jail. I think it was 2.5 months. Illegally. For no reason.
But that's your opinion.
4.5
months. That's your opinion.
No,
so he gets released without charges. And it's my opinion. So the judge said free to go. He was illegally in there for 2.5 months, but it's just my opinion.
It's 4.5. Yes. 10th man. You don't know this, but
you wasn't convicted?
Yeah, this
no.
So 10th man.
Really?
I'm Team DLZ,
right?
Just so you know.
Yeah. It doesn't, just because I don't like the person doesn't mean I don't support what they do. I'm just saying. I can show you dozens of these.
10th man.
Yeah, I get you.
I am Team DLZ. Do you know what that means?
Maybe.
Okay. I just want you to know that because, bro, like, nah, you just don't even know, bro. That's my team. Like,
I get you. Just I've been in these people's chats and in their comments for a long, long time. I've taken a few of them down as well for being shady.
So you know the board game? The board game? He's getting really close. It's actually the game is ready for pre-order.
Okay.
Constitution HQ. It's ready for pre-order. I'm super excited because I know I'm going to be definitely testing.
It's just I don't think that most people have seen what I've seen. Right? Maybe you have, but most people haven't watched 10 years worth of auditing videos. Probably nobody on here other than you and I even know who Jeff Gray is / Honor Your Oath. Yeah. Does anybody up here other than Brick and I know who that is?
You mean Honor Your Oath? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know about him, and just to add more to what you said, right? Watching and experiencing yourself individually is different. Would you agree?
I record as well.
Right. So then, by definition, anybody can just watch, but it's about what you experience yourself first. It's like a smart man learns from his mistakes, a wise man learns from others type thing. So you're basing yourself on, are you a First Amendment auditor, 10th man? Is that what you are?
No, just an activist.
Oh, so
I don't
like
go
a rights
looking for
activist.
it. I don't go looking for it, but
No, I get you.
No, you're literally as a first of all, you're looking for it.
Hello.
Right. Because
It's literally what you do.
Because I was wondering, because I know there's the people who actually try to honor the First Amendment and I'm just one of those guys, veterans who serve the country, who just, I'm glad you guys have your rights and you can impose for what you want to do with it, but there's a difference between a First Amendment auditor and just a harasser who just tries to pose that First Amendment shield.
Yes,
that is true. Yes, I do not disagree with that. Thank you for saying that. Yes. And I appreciate that, you know, I have my rights because of people like you and some others that fought and bled so that others don't have to. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure that I understand, because I used to watch a lot of First Amendment audit. It's just because YouTube is just so they have so many genres of content, and to the point where I've seen the bigger main channels. You know what I'm saying? As we should, right? Because I said it earlier too, Rez. I was like, we all got many freaking doors we can open up in this YouTube corridor. But yeah, because I've seen the big channels like SGB News First, like Omaha, Kern County, whatever. But I have to distinguish, like, and understand what's the difference sometimes. And maybe you guys can explain it better, because I've been out of that, watching that space for a while. But are some of those main channels, are they known just to grift? Or are they actual, some of them, genuine auditors?
Not all of them. No, there's some folks out there who really want some change. There's definitely some grifters, and then there's some in between who just kind of who know that they're going to be able to get out if they get into trouble, and you know, it's not necessarily a grift, but they're trying to bring attention to what's happening at the same time. And then there's some folks who literally just like to cover stories. You know, I know that, you know, there's that on both sides, obviously. So, you know, it's you know, about like people, a little bit of everything.
Right. Okay.
Yep. But you know, that's just one aspect of what I would do as far as the 500 billion for, you know, a state. Like I said, that's about the average deficit. Well, it's not the average deficit; it's the biggest deficit for any state. So I would definitely want to do that. But then, you know, I have interest in some businesses. I have some real business ideas that I'd like to be able to do. Maybe I might be able to do that one day. I like the restaurant business that I have in mind, because I know probably everybody has a restaurant business idea. 400,000 is just like the base for that, so that's not too bad. If I could do, like, I don't know, a nice little chain, 5 to 10, you know, that's not bad. You know, that's, you know, 4 million, and taking that further, right, and then going outward from that, you know, because everything needs supply, especially restaurants. And then when you get to the actual people and what they do, you know, you got the farms, you got the education system. There's things that would, you know, definitely need to be, quote unquote, revamped. The education system, I feel, is one of the biggest and hardest things to tackle in changing a mentality of a society. So a lot of the curriculum revolves around I hate to say it. It's a bootlicking. I don't want to say it, but it is. You know, you do whatever the authority tells you, which is good for children to learn in their homes. But moving it forward out of that into the classroom, I'm a little leery of it. You know, I believe that the parents should be able to tell their children what to do. And if the children are being told to behave in class, they will do well in class. But if the teachers are telling them, could be anything, then they're very much rebellious. Children are very rebellious. Like, they need to be taught, but the teaching needs to be from example. And that's tough. That's tough in a classroom. So with the teachers, there's a problem. And that's that teachers, a lot of them want to be the boss. Well, you're not. The parents are the boss. And you're just a teacher. You're an example. You're putting the things down that need to be understood, yes, but you're doing it for a reason. Family is the most important thing, right? So if the parents wouldn't approve, and it's tough because you don't know what one parent will approve of versus the next parent. So that's very tough. But there's some other things too, you know, that are nuanced. The financial system, there's big problems in it, but you know, it's kind of nuanced because the people with money don't want to be taxed. The people without it don't really give a damn because they ain't got money to be taxed anyway. So there's that. So yeah, 500 billion, one whole state. I would take it, and I would try. But that's me. Anybody else?
Sure. I got lost in what the hell y'all was talking about for a minute.
I do apologize. My 500 billion.
There's a lot of medicinal marijuana he got. That's why.
Nah, ain't nobody been talking about no marijuana. All right, anybody else want to answer the question before we go into something else?
What's the question? Not being a dick. It's just, you know, I was only watching for a few minutes. So
no, you good, bro. It was basically asking about what would you do with a blank check and with the what would the amount be?
No matter how much of anything that someone has, they're going to find something else that they want. So, you know, I don't think anybody wants a blank check. I think all anybody wants is to not fear homelessness or starvation, you know. So if I had a blank check, I just would like to be able to make it so that food was cheap. When I've watched bread go from 25 cents when I was a small child, I sound like my grandfather, right? Used to go and get a half a pint of molasses and a loaf of bread down at the corner store for a nickel. That's how I sound, right? So this is the problem with communism is no one can be trusted. So there's no like it's a really hard question to answer. What would I do with a blank check? I think everything that I think of that I could do seems like it could cause more harm than good. Medicine, maybe.
So what would the amount be if you could put a
medicine
number
for children
in that blank check?
I'd have to probably go along the lines of what Burke is saying. Education.
Like 100 billion, 200 billion, 300
$1 trillion into education.
Hell yeah, I could do that. I could go along with that. $1 trillion. Yeah, it needs it. And when I say $1 trillion, I mean that's got to be allocated to
before taxes or after taxes.
No, the teachers, the educators, they would be still paying taxes back. I'm okay with the tax, but there would be a very rigorous vetting process where, I mean, it's really tough because you got the universities making the decisions, and as long as they get the curriculum and the grades, the teachers are there. And I love our
No, I'm talking about elementary, junior high, and high school education, not university. 97% of universities bullshit unless it's a trade.
Right. Yeah. And what I mean is that the teachers are coming out of the university, so the schools are hiring on the teachers, and of course the teachers are being taught by the universities what to teach. And so I love our teachers, but they're coming from these universities that are not really teaching them the core values, in my opinion, which is family is first. And that's kind of what I was saying before, is like they go believing that they're the boss of the classroom. Well, that's only because the parents want their children in a school where the children are respected. And if you tell the child what to do, they're just naturally rebellious. Every human being is. And so it's got to be an example. You have to be a good example, and it's tough, and I get it. I love our teachers. We've got the best. I mean, I know
no, we don't.
We've dropped, I know, on the global scale. I will admit that. But over the span of history of the 250 years that we've been a country, we're better, in my opinion. We do need to pick up the bar. You know, Japan is doing great. But the thing is, you know,
when you mean the bar break, what do you mean by the bar?
The bar will like just the idea that family is the most important. That bar right there.
Apparently, it's not.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
No, it's Marx Vasiri that's being taught in colleges and being spewed out to the kids in schools.
Yeah. So a very rigorous process about choosing teachers that understand those values, which is tough. I mean, and then on top of that, it's got to be taught in the universities, which are public. You know, if we can bring that, you know, mindset, and it can't be like forced. I get that, because there's no ideology, no religion that's going to be taught in that, you know, other than if you have the ability to teach it all, right? So,
well,
emphasis on teaching that.
Well, but here in America, I think when they're in elementary school, starting in elementary school, moving on up to the universities, I don't think, like, you know, the preservation of family is not they don't start like with that oneness here, because even if you
They don't push that here.
no, they don't push that here at all, because even if you look at, you know, you said something about Japan, you know, even if you look at Korea, in Korea, they, you know, there's certain universities, one of the highest universities there, the parents live with their students there. You know, the parents live there, and they cook meals there for their children, and the children are just, you know, their students are just worried about, you know, going off to classes and stuff like that.
Right.
You know,
That's interesting.
we would never, we would never, you know, our children in our universities here would never even think about having us, you know, go off to college, you know, with them. I mean, maybe my children, but, you know, anybody else there, the first thing they're thinking about is, you know, if they go to college, or if we push college. And, you know, like the other gentleman said, trade school, they're not thinking about taking, you know, their parents with us. They're thinking about, oh, I'm grown now, let me get away from you. You know, they're not thinking about taking us with them. But, you know, the Koreans, you know, since they want, you know, just their children to do good, and, you know, that, you know, education is everything to them, they're like, I'm going to do
Middle
all your
Eastern people
cleaning.
too.
Yeah, I'm going to do all your cleaning. I'm going to make sure your bed is made. I'm going to make sure your room is clean. I just want you to focus on your grades. You know, that's all I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on your studies. You know, they don't have to make their bed. They don't have to fold their clothes. They don't have to do any of that. I just want you to study. That's it, and that's all. And so we don't push that. We're like, clean your room, fold your laundry. Did you wash that? You know, did you wash your car? You know, we're thinking about piling everything on their schedule. And so,
yeah, but I see less of that now than you did in 1950.
You're very right about that, because nowadays parents are like, you know, can I brush
I'm
your
not doing
teeth for
shit.
you? Yeah, can I brush your teeth for you? Are you mad at me? Let's talk about
TikTok
this.
parents.
Yeah,
But
let's
No,
talk
the
about
parents, the
this.
parents see now, the parents I see now is, I'm not doing your laundry. I'm not doing none of that shit.
Yeah,
I'm not taking
yeah.
care of that. I'm not doing none of that for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
They
that
push you to be an adult. They push you to be on your own.
it's so different. I think that I don't know. I think that sometimes, we as Americans, we take so many backward steps, and we say that this gentle parenting thing is gently ridiculous is all I can say. Like
It's not just. It's not. No offense. It's not just a gentle parenting. It's like they took things away, like the security and the corporal punishment for parents to deliver to the kids. They took away the fact that these parents want to be friends with their kids. You're a parent first, and a friend second. And I think that's what they get twisted. And I think
I
the
just think
kids.
I just think throw the friendship thing out the window. I mean, I'm sorry. I just think throw the friendship thing out the window. I mean, I know that my picture may be deceiving. I know I look young, but my oldest child is almost 30, and I know it's a no for me. Like I don't want to be your friend. I don't care. I want you to be a man. You're gonna have to be married one day and have children, and I don't care if I need you to be right. And so if we're not friends, who cares? And it was the same way with my other children.
Right, you want to raise them to be functional society.
Yes,
like,
I just
I
don't care.
get you.
There are things that I have to teach you, and if you don't call me friend,
Oh, lost your mic.
Good.
Well, what happened? The Matrix? Oh crap!
Probably.
Oh, that's much better.
How about we get schools just to start?
Yeah, y'all messed up, man.
How about we get schools just to concentrate on education instead of social engineering?
Well,
that part.
I was just thinking about that, Mayo. Because I'm like, schools are pretty much teaching you how to think. Well, rather, schools are teaching you what to think, not necessarily how to think.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I mean, have you seen that new math crap they're doing now?
Yes, I have.
Talk about the squares.
It's ridiculous.
It's hilarious because I've seen it.
What
I
is
did
it?
a couple
Can
shows
somebody
about it back
describe
in the day.
I'll see if I can find a video of it. It's ludicrous.
So it's like the dumb logic. Is that what it is? Or they think it's logic.
So essentially, you put the circles in the squares, and then by adding numbers to the circles and the squares, it's like an abacus, but with circles and squares, right? So, but what it's actually doing is teaching you to not understand math so that you can get the correct answer, but so that you'll look at your paycheck and not understand that they took this amount in taxes because you don't actually understand math anymore. That's what it's for.
Well,
So
and not only that, did you know that a lot of the
Put a video
gosh,
in the back.
this not only that, there was this we had got a new death investigator, and she was, I think she's like 21. She might be no, she's not 21. I think she's like 23. But she was laughing because she was like, she has a bachelor's degree and everything, but she was like, she doesn't know how to spell, because she was like, she grew up with spell check, that she was like, she graduated top of her class and everything like that. But she's like, I'm really smart, but I just, spell check was everywhere. And she's like, I'm smart, but I just don't ask me how to spell anything. And I was like, wait, what? And I guess it's just her generation. But for me, that's scary, because I'm like, well, what were you in school doing? But as she was talking, I thought to myself, you know what? There weren't spelling bees anymore when she was coming up in school. Like, they took that out. They took out long division. They took out everything.
Yeah. Oh, even cursive writing.
Yes.
Right. Because cursive writing is about a lot more than just writing cursive.
Yes.
It's
Critical
about discipline. It's about discipline.
She doesn't know how to critically think either, because when we put her in weird situations, doesn't know how to critically think. Like, she cannot critically think to save her life. I can't tell you.
They blue screen. They blue screen all the time.
They don't teach you to be social.
She blacks out. I can't tell you how many times I've had to save her. And I have gotten to the point where I can't do it. I cannot. I can't work with her because.
Do you ever give her like scenarios, like testing scenarios, to see what she does?
This sounds like a really awesome YouTube channel you could start. Like,
All
it could be a television
I'm
show like Bones.
Wrestling OG can bring it up.
all the time.
It'll explain new math.
You guys, one time I just left her in the freezer because I just wanted to see if she could get out. And I feel really bad for this. I just left her in there because all you have to do is wave your hand in
As a
front of
social
this.
experiment, not just to cause harm, right?
Yes, not to cause harm. All you have to do is wave your hand in front of the sensor. Hold on, I'm trying not to laugh.
And then there's probably a
This doesn't sound mean at all.
Right? There's probably a backup button.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like Texas justice. It's Texas justice.
But all you have to do is wave your hand to get out. And I was like, I was watching her on the camera. I promise I was, because I wanted to see how long it was gonna take her to panic. And I was like, Lyric, just when you see her panic, go in there and get her. And I'm watching her on the camera, and I'm like, she's about to crack, she's about to panic, because she's laying in there with bodies, guys, and she did it. She started to panic. She's looking around, she's getting scared, and I'm like, she's cracking, she's cracking. She never found the button that all she had to do was wave her hand in front of it. Never found it. And she's looking at the body. She's starting to panic. She's looking for me to come back. And I'm like, please wave your hand in front of the door. Never did it. Never did it.
It's a damn shame. All right, so let's take a look at what this new system of math is. That's crazy.
When I was in school, Lucas, all we did, add here, I carry the 1, and I'll go 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 1 is 6. That's my answer.
Learn how you show how it's actually done.
How it's actually done. Okay.
These are the 10s, and that's the 1s.
Okay.
4 10s and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, that's...
And then 7 1s. 1 more 10.
Okay.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This wants to be with its friends, so it goes up to 50, and then it counts 1 more up, so it will make 63.
That is one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But when you now see why so many young people's brains have been blown up, not just because of the gender stuff, but because of that.
Have you guys ever seen somebody who didn't know the higher levels of multiplication and how they figure out what 6 times 8 is? Where they write all the 6s down, they write 8 6s down, and then do it together. Have you ever seen that though on an example, like on a test page?
I have.
No.
That's literally how they do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop it.
That's how they're teaching math now, using
instead of the times tables like we grew up with.
Yes.
Why don't they just write the times table down?
Again, because you know what you're using right there is too much logic. You know what I'm saying?
Throw that in the trash. What was that?
It was a way so that you can do math for Massa and get the right amount of sticks in each pile so he can sell them to somebody, but not actually understand math. That's what that's for.
And it also separates the kid from the child, because the parent does not know that system, so they cannot help their child. So their child grows up thinking their parents fucking stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that viewpoint, but also, with us moving into age of technology and coding, so the way coding works is 1s and 0s. It's literally on and off, right?
That's very true too.
Well, no. Actually, no. Most people believe most people who do not work in the actual physical tech field do not learn binary. They just coding actually is a programming language. It's not binary. They don't learn that. People who do networking learn binary.
Do you guys know what hexadecimal is?
I've seen it before.
It's okay. Do you know what a MAC address is? It's okay. On a Mac, on every device has a MAC address, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I get asked all the time. Very, very few. I've taken tens of thousands of calls, tech calls in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very few people go, I wonder if that's a 0 or an O. I'm like, it's hexadecimal. People don't know any of that stuff.
They don't
No,
understand.
Windows
They
made
don't
people
understand
computer stupid.
Yeah, they don't
At
understand
least
head.
back in the day when we were running DOS, people had to know basic computer language.
Yeah.
Now Windows
Not
just made
anymore.
it point and click.
Windows is what dumbed down the tech field.
People think I'm a magician when I ask them to open up a DOS prompt on like Windows 10 or something, get them to do a little
Oh
bit
my
of stuff. They're
God.
like,
See,
what?
most of you young guys don't know what this is.
That's the
Thank you
thing.
for the compliment. Thank you for calling me young.
Yep.
That's fine.
You don't know what this is.
Follow the lines, nigga. It's easy.
Follow the times table line chart.
Yeah, it's a easy, bro. Hey, you supposed to have that in your text in your notebook.
And most people don't actually do the multiplication in their head. They just remember it from the repetitiveness of how they were taught it.
I don't even think they give children that chart anymore when they
No, they don't.
enter
No,
into
they
school.
don't.
Because my kids, when my children were growing up, I had those charts all around the house. And they saw those charts, they saw ABC's charts, they saw the English language. I had, the Spanish language up. Everything was all around the house. So when they went to school, a lot of the stuff they already knew, which I feel like parents, by the time your child goes to kindergarten, I don't feel like they should just be learning that stuff. Like, I don't feel like the teacher should have to teach them, like that stuff should be new to them. I think they should already know it. But
A
that's
kid should
just me.
know how to read before he goes to kindergarten.
That's what I think.
do you guys know that kids that are born in the year 2025 will live to see the year 3000?
Good for them. There ain't gonna be much here.
No, it's a TikTok. People
Yeah,
are bad at math.
I thought that he got that off of TikTok, but I don't know. I think I don't know if that's how they want to teach kids. I think that's sad. I don't like that, but I don't know.
They took it from China, that square math thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they teach math in China. That's the whole point of it.
I see.
And that would make sense if we taught using an abacus from day one.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't.
But we don't.
They do now.
They're teaching the abacus, or they're just
Pretty
doing the
much.
stupid math?
That's the same as an abacus. It's just doing it on paper.
That's exactly kind of what my view was. It's like it's the ticks. It's either it's on or it's off. It's a 1, it's a 1, it's a 1. You just add them up.
But that wasn't a 1. It was a slash and a dot.
Yeah, it's a tick. Yeah.
Because did that little boy seem like he was in the first or the second grade, maybe?
You heard him already. Let me tell you how it actually is.
Yeah. And his parents can't help him with that homework.
I think I've seen that little boy before. I think his parents are 2 women. I think.
Well, there's the problem.
No surprise there.
Yeah, I think his other mom. I think he has I think the other lady. I think his other parent is another mom.
Wow. Yeah, actually, that kind of leads into my other thing that I noticed was an oddity when he said, "So this number wants to be with this number over here."
Friends.
Oh yeah, he did say that.
They want to be friends. And it's like, what? No, these are numbers, kid. These are just numbers. They're not.
Yeah, they don't have feelings. They don't have drives. They're just numbers.
You notice how they try to do this kind of like very fruity, like very liberal. It's
underhanded.
It's underhanded, like gayness.
Well, you guys should see the books that they have in schools.
I know the fellatio shit is crazy. Like, you're teaching someone to do that shit. Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
They just caught a school district in Maine teaching 5th graders how to do cocaine.
No, they didn't.
Oh, we talking my language. We talking my language.
I knew you would, you degenerate locksmith bastard. I know you're gonna pop for this.
The read along start small and go slow.
Are you like?
I'm serious.
Sounds like sex.
That's crazy.
So if we could go back
And
to
they're
the
doing the
whole
same with
math,
sex acts too.
if we could go back to the whole math thing, I think I know why that whole Common Core thing happened. Well, at least it was the way it was told to me because I had kids that were in school, and I
Okay.
think the reason they do it that way is because they want the student to be able to show work. So they show them some wacky way to do it, so that when tests come or when they ask for a question, they always wanted the student to have scrap paper and they would submit that they show work, like proof of it. Like when we
But
were
we
young,
did
we
that
used
with a
to.
rate.
Sir, we did that.
Right.
You
We
had
did that.
that. Yeah, you had that on our math test.
Have you ever
And
heard
that
of
the
long
lady
division?
that did that thing, that did that problem, that's proof of
Yeah,
learning.
but I think as time went on, people just started memorizing it, and kids just started to just know it, and it just made it tough for them like kids wouldn't submit scrap paper anymore.
You want to believe that slashes and dots make them look more?
I think it's insane. I think it's absolutely insane. But I'm just telling you what the
I'm still
reasoning
stuck at the
was.
part of cutting lines, cocaine like it's blower, Wolf of Wall Street.
I'm telling you, even if you
cut
memorize it,
lines.
even if you memorize
Yeah, I
it
know
and
you would,
and you
locksmith.
tell somebody to show their work, even if you have it in your memory, you can still show your work. Like you can still go back and write on a scrap piece of paper how you came to that answer because it's still in your mind. So
Yeah,
that
and a lot of times with I believe like with us when we were in school, it was timed, right? So
Mhm.
if it comes down to timing and they already know that you should be able to count the ticks within a certain amount of time, they know that you're not cheating. So I kind of
Right.
go along with that B-baller. I approve of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because
Yeah, but
even
why would they teach a system that they refuse to teach the parents that have to help the kids on their homework?
right, that's very true too.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes right into B-baller's point, which is that, you know, if the child can just memorize it, right? Just, okay, I know the numbers, right? Then the parent could possibly teach the child just memorize the numbers. So maybe that's it. Like has been said as well, to separate the child from the parent.
But even then, how do you memorize random math problem numbers?
Oh, that can be done. I mean, I'm pretty good with math. There's certain things that I would memorize personally, which I could do the work, but I hated writing. So, you know, if I was required to show the work, I would. But if I was not required while I was in school, I would never ever show.
Yeah, but I mean, do you need to show proof that 3 plus 7 equals 10?
Well,
No.
you know,
You're
first
wrong,
grade.
Mayo. It equals fish. It equals
You know what I
-5.
mean? You know
But
what I mean?
But I kind of agree with him along the lines of the separating the child from the parents because I mean, as it for the person that has a child still in school, they're getting to the point where like even when you take the confidentiality where it comes to medical, so a child when they go to their doctor's office now, there's a separation there. So a doctor now, even with a minor child, if the minor goes into the doctor's office and there's something that minor doesn't want the pediatrician, a pediatrician, if there's something that minor doesn't want the pediatrician to disclose to the parent, the pediatrician doesn't have to. And I think that is horrible, you know, because if it's a pregnancy, if it's a sexually transmitted disease, if it's them wanting to convert over to a different sex, they don't have to disclose that. So if the minor reaches a certain age, like 10 or 12, and they want to start transitioning, they don't have to disclose that to the parent if the minor says that they want to start that and they don't want their parents to know. And I think that's horrible. And so I believe that there is a separation that society does want to cause between the parent and the child, and that goes, you know, I don't know. I think that's horrible. So maybe there is this divide that they want to happen, and that goes into what we were talking about earlier when we stated that, you know, America isn't this, you know, community, family oriented society that we should be, like other countries are.
Well, like they're even starting to put the doctor's offices in the schools, full
They
clinics.
are. They really are. And
the parent
it's
never even knows that the kid's going to the doctor.
You happy now, Locksmith? Are you happy now? You're freaking gay agenda.
And to hone in on that point, it's so bad to where the government is in on it too, because they track everything that we do on our phones. We all know that. And that there was that 14-year-old girl that was Googling things on her phone, and she was looking into different things, to whereas these coupons started coming in the mail, congratulating her on her pregnancy. She was 14 years old, and her parents was just like, nobody in this house is pregnant. Why are we getting all this stuff? Lo and behold, she was the one that was pregnant, and but they didn't find out until, months down the line.
You might be missing one part of that. The girl didn't even know that she was pregnant.
Oh, yeah, that's
It was
right.
because the algorithm picked up on the things that she was searching.
That's right.
And then it figured out that she was pregnant before she even knew, or anybody else even knew.
Yeah, and it shocked her. And so, but same thing. And so it's just like, look at our society. It's just all messed up. But the separation is definitely there. And I think it's just sad.
Yeah.
So
look up data collection and social emotional learning if you want to crawl down a rabbit hole.
That sounds good.
That's
No,
where
I've
they
looked
want to
that
put
up.
the
He's
sensors.
right. Mhm.
They want to put the sensors in the desks for the kids to test their heartbeat, their perspiration, all that.
Yeah.
Well, there's that new thing off TED Talk or whatever where they're gonna be able to track whether or not you're paying attention when you're working, and then they can do that for children as well. So if they're not paying attention in class, this little chip is going to read their brain, or if your boss is going to be able to tell whether or not you're actually paying attention at work and stuff. Yep, this is a factual thing that's happening as we speak.
The government has an algorithm to figure out mouse jigglers already. So all these at-home workers, a lot of them that are getting fired for having those things turned on all day.
Yeah. I knew
crazy.
I knew they were going to start that soon. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well,
but 3 years ago, if you would have invented the mouse jiggler and patented it, you'd be a millionaire today.
Ain't that the truth?
That's America.
But it's weird though, because how did the companies not know that people were just wiggling their mouses? Like, wasn't their work not getting finished? Because if you're just wiggling your mouse, what about the work that you had to do complete for that day? Like,
yeah, but what work? That's the thing.
What do you mean? What work?
How do you quantify an analyst job due to work you can see?
Right. So there was a big problem with this for a long time, because before the whole mouse jiggling thing, which was also a problem for a while, it was like they used to always ask you if you had a camera or whatever, or if not, they would set up one for you, whether it's your mouse, whether it's your laptop or whatever, so that they can review you. But that was like kind of like this invasion kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then like they came up with the whole keystrokes or the whole mouse thing. But the truth of the matter is this. Here's the thing about people who stay home, who are devs, who are customer service. Here's the thing that's already been known for everybody. A lot of people can get their work done and don't have to be confined to 8 hours a day.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a
No,
fact.
that portion is definitely a fact. But I'm saying there's a lot of, okay, for example, there is a portion of my job where I could work from home. Was there work that I could say, oh, this is going to take me 8 hours to do? Absolutely not. And I did not claim 8 hours. But I'm saying me just wiggling my mouse, no. Like, there was things that I had to enter into, like there were deaths that I had to enter in, and there were no way that death certificates were going to get completed for me just wiggling a mouse. Do you see what I'm? Do you see
Well,
what
the
I'm?
wiggling of
Right.
the mouth is just to prove that someone is still sitting
Doing
there.
something.
No, I
It's a
know that.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. How can they like what work were they completing if they were just wiggling a mouse? That's what I'm
Well,
asking.
there's some work that some people it would take them 6 hours to do, and somebody else it would take them 2. For that person, it only takes them 2 hours to do. The rest is mouse jiggling time.
Yeah, I mean,
I see what you're saying
yeah,
now.
and not
Okay.
for nothing. There's no one at this day and age. Well, there are very few people this day and age who know how to actually work a computer without a mouse. I know I am one of those people.
As am I.
Brez just wanted to brag for the moment right now. That's what you want to do, Brez. Damn, dude.
It takes people who have actually had to be in a time where they've had their mouses broken or whatever, and they had to understand how to navigate an actual desktop without using a
See,
mouse.
what Wrestler's going back to doing is going back to what we originally talked about, which was we were just talking about how cursive, we don't do cursive anymore. Well, Wrestler's
Right.
done command prompt language, so if anything were to break down, he'd know how to go back to the prompt.
Y'all don't write on cursive on paper sometime?
Nah, they stopped teaching that.
They stopped teaching that.
No, but what you remember yourself, you guys don't remember how to do cursive yourselves?
I do, but
I
I've
do.
seen,
Yeah.
I've seen millennials and Gen Zers that write sort of in cursive and some in regular print, or
Yeah,
some
but
that
keep
don't
in
know
mind,
how to
they're
write it.
trying to get rid of the aspect of even just having a signature.
Well,
Yeah.
that's actually I was going to point that out. So if you can't write in cursive, you know what you can't do? You
can't read the Constitution.
You can't sign a document.
You can't read the founding documents yourself.
If you can't sign a document, you can't sign a contract.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people that can't do that.
There's a lot. I know a few people that don't.
And there a lot of these people growing up nowadays, a lot of the children growing up nowadays, they definitely are not going to be able to read the original Constitution.
So you guys want to hear something funny? So I was speaking to a young lady. I think she's like 24 years old, and we were talking about there was a clock on her wall, and she said she did not know how to read that clock because all she knew was digital. It never, it was never, it was not something that she worried about. So and I looked at her clock and I was like, your clock, the battery is not out of it. It's not moving. I'll change the battery for you. And she said, nope, I don't look at that anymore. And then she divulged to me that she had no idea how to read a clock.
But it also ties into something that's also very important there. Critical thought is not taught. Because here's the thing. Let's just say, because even if she had nothing but digital, right? The fact that she passed by that thing day in, day out, and was not curious.
Yes. And she just left something there like it was a paperweight. I was like,
but you know what? Had she known her times tables, maybe she would have learned how to read that clock. 5, 10, 15, 20. Listen, go around that clock.
Think about it. The most basic thing that got us to this part as human beings is curiosity.
Yes.
They are stripping curiosity away from the very thing that got us this far in evolution.
How many times have we seen where they go around and ask people how many quarters are in a dollar?
Yes.
And they don't know. Or
that's fucking sad.
I used to work at a bank.
Sad.
Most of the people that I worked with did not understand how the 24-hour clock worked at all. They couldn't get it. And I went to the same coffee shop twice and had 2 different people because it was weeks apart, and passed them a roll of dimes, and they looked at me like they just didn't understand what a roll of dimes were. And I said, it's $5. They conferred with each other. But then I thought about it afterwards, and then I was told by my husband that they don't actually do their own tills anymore at stores. So, because I said, well, hold on, how are they filling their tills with dimes and not knowing how much is in there? And they're like, no, they don't do that. They just give them the till at the beginning of the shift. Yeah.
Locks it, codes it in, and then walks off, and then counts it at the end of the shift.
I'm like, what?
I'll bet you there's a lot of companies that just go with the square anyhow.
Were the tills still going? Were they still doing the tills up to the ending, beginning at 100 and ending at 100 for the end of the day, or was it different by that time?
Hope you aren't asking me. I have no idea. I was shocked.
Oh.
I was shocked by the whole thing, and then my husband's like, "Oh yeah, no, they don't do that. The manager does that," just like Buddy said. And I'm like, "What is happening?"
That's
I've seen some small shops that don't even have a register. They just have that silly square where you just do things digital and it goes to a Venmo account or something like that.
Pretty much. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the square card.
Yeah, square card.
Yeah.
You don't even need a till nowadays, so you'll never see dimes.
I mean, and speaking of registering dollars, I want to thank Brick for the $1.99. So speaking of dollars, appreciate you, Brick.
Appreciate you, Brick. Let me give you a little something, man. You know, we got to do a little something. But we're going to switch it up today, man. We're going to give you this one, Brick. Don't take it the wrong way. Well, we'll just do something. Appreciate you, Brick.
Hell yeah. That's a hit, man. That's an Oscar. That's a Grammy right there. That's a Grammy.
It really is, though. That thing be jamming.
Oh,
it's just I don't understand.
Mayo in here. Mayo with the 20. He says split it.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I never get to pay OG because he ain't put a PayPal up yet.
Well, sir, I every time I tell you I'm gonna get around to it, I don't get around to it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Let me go and give you this one right here.
Damn, girl, you get thicker.
Rain it up so you can't catch me, nigga. Shooters put up till I'm tough so you won't catch me with them. I told my homie that's enough, stop being extra, nigga. Not too big to feed, I brought too much, you wanna bet me, nigga? Hey, filled up the safe, go get a trash bag. Old police ass, nigga, get your badge back.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Somewhere a trap house just got raided and a drive-by just occurred. So with that song.
Oh Lord, shut up, Marcus.
Well, you guys, my husband has gotten off of work, so I'm going to drop down. It has been wonderful talking to you guys. Thanks for letting me join the panel.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Appreciate you,
Make sure
Lyric.
you come on back and see us.
Thank you, Lyric.
Great to see you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Good to listen to you again.
No, and honestly, if it wasn't for COVID, the schools would still be getting away with a lot of this stuff.
Oh gosh, I was through. Let me just say, they did children wrong during COVID because they had them wearing those masks, and those masks did more damage to students than you can imagine. Because so here's the deal: when you put those masks on, especially like little kids, small ones, they usually they mimic what you do, your lips. For reading, for understanding, they use your lips. When we put those masks on for about a year and a half, we fucked up a lot of children, not just over the internet, but I'm talking little kids.
Oh, God.
Little kids.
Oh, my girlfriend.
They have to learn sign language.
Yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend's a sign language interpreter. It made her job damn near impossible because they still use a lot of mouth cues.
Yeah, but just think about babies. But just think about babies.
Yeah.
Like they have to learn, and they're not even learning because like they don't understand expressions. They don't understand anything. You need your whole face to express things to babies, and you put a mask over their face, over your face, and it was even worse when they put it over the child's face. But when they put a mask over their face, that child did not know how to learn anything. We set children back.
No, a lot of large cities actually had laws where people couldn't cover their face in public.
Yeah, that was later though.
It's actually come back. There was an auditor not too long ago that was arrested for wearing a mask in like City Hall or something like that, and they're like, "Yeah, it's illegal." But just a few months before that, it was a requirement. It was a requirement, so they just get to change it day to day. You never know what's against the law and what's not, and they just throw you in jail.
Well, that and you go to the next town over and they require it. Or you go from store to store and the rule's different.
I will say, thankfully, I was in rebellious Florida, so I didn't have to deal with it as much.
Neither was I. I'm also in Florida, so I didn't have to deal with it either. But I did take note of what was going on, and it was crazy.
Yeah. But on the good side of that, parents got to finally see what their kids were being taught.
Absolutely. I think that was the beginning of what we're seeing now.
That was the beginning of the parents' takeovers of these school boards.
Yep. A little bit of real wake up, like not the woke, but the wake up.
Yeah.
Like woke up out of wake up.
Yeah. Like how come there's a gay flag in every classroom?
Because you don't have a say in it.
Yeah, when did that become the norm?
It's just weird because where I'm from in Halifax, Nova Scotia, because I'm Canadian, if anybody doesn't know, and in the early 2000s, there was a kid who had like a Jesus Saves shirt, and he got expelled from school because he refused to not wear it to school. But then suddenly, there's a gay flag in the school a couple of years later, right? And I'm the guy who complained when I went to an elementary school. I think it was an elementary school or whatever. It was a voting place, like a polling station, and they had Jesus posters up. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're not allowed to do that. So if I'm going to complain about Jesus, I also have to complain about the gay flag or anything about that, right? Like, you're supposed to be there to learn math. You know what I mean? Like, not how to suck penises.
Yeah.
Correct.
No, I agree.
They are teaching them that.
Yeah. And
sadly,
there's an example that really should be followed. That, you know, the classrooms, in my personal opinion, should be bare, short of the curriculum. If there's anything on the walls, it's got to do with the curriculum, like numbers.
But it is.
Math,
but it is the curriculum, Brick. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. There should definitely be a lot of examples that are being followed. Like this particular example. I want to thank Lyric Speaks. Thank you and good night. She got the $4.99. I appreciate you, Lyric.
I appreciate her in her natural hair too. Appreciate that.
Oh, you gotta drop it for. Hold up.
Man, fuck all you hoes, all you hoes, all you hoes, all you hoes, all you hoes. Man, fuck all you hoes, all you hoes, all you hoes, all you hoes.
Appreciate you, Lyric.
I don't know why somebody would just throw their money around. Just had to pick it up.
I don't get it.
I mean, seeing the stacks should be good enough.
Because they're making it rain.
For the video.
That's a
Yeah,
lot.
most people don't want rain, sir. Most people don't want rain.
Video
That's like,
killed the radio.
That's like if your favorite card game is 52 pickup.
Oh, rain is free water. What are you talking about, man? I don't know what you're talking about.
Not in California, sir. That's a crime.
Rain is free water. So I'll get a bucket. I'll stick out that bucket outside, and I'll get that shit for me.
It's a crime, sir.
You know, there's a guy that was trying to buy the rain. Can you believe that shit? There was a guy that was trying to market and like buy the rain when it rains. Like, what kind of somebody shoot that guy?
And Maryland tried taxing people on their property that interfered with the rain hitting the ground by square footage, like your roof, your driveway, your patio.
For runoff? Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah. If
So
it interfered with the natural runoff of rain. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm getting kind of to the point. So I appreciate you having me up, Resla and OG. Great discussion tonight. I appreciate you giving me a little bit of room, Mayo Monkey, to speak a little bit, and then as well as everybody else. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Have a good one, man.
Appreciate you, bro, for coming through.
Laters.
All right. So, what's the next topic? OG or Res? Oh, somebody else left.
I tried to come up when you guys were doing Doge, but you guys were full. So.
Oh, I put a Doge thing in the back on what some of the shit they found they're spending money on.
Oh, I know. When I watched Trump read all that stuff off, and then there's a few people that have showed the actual chart now, and it's like between 20 and 30 million people that are over the age of 100. Some of them are up to like 250 years old, are still active in the Social Security system, and then people are trying to argue back that, oh no, they just don't understand how to read it. That's why you don't let kids go in there. And it's like, I don't think I believe you.
Oh, trying to say it was the computer language?
Yeah.
Was the reason? Yeah. That was bullshit.
It's just funny.
They fixed all that shit with Y2K in the first place.
It will be funny if they root it all out and then balance Social Security, and it was all just fraud all this time. And then it's going to be adorable watching thousands, if not millions, of people go to jail or have to pay this money back that they stole. It's going to be beautiful.
Well, even with USAID, right? The only thing those guys have access to is the unclassified computers. They don't have access to the classified stuff.
And they only have read access to anything.
Yeah. So they haven't even scratched the surface of the real fraud.
Oh, I can't wait.
I mean, there was one study that girl in the video that I put up there talked about. The effect of cocaine on like quail and their sex life.
Yep, I saw that.
I didn't know there was a cocaine problem in the quail population.
It's just as a gay man,
listen, quail lives matter.
As a gay man, I never thought that we would have to give millions of dollars to a like plays in Afghanistan about transgenders or whatever. Like, it's a weird thing. That's not what I fought for in the 90s.
And the people that are doing those are risking their lives. Because the Taliban ain't going to put up with that shit.
I'm just saying that's not when I was fighting to be able to file taxes with my husband, blah, blah, blah. But I knew it was going to go like this.
Oh, yeah. Once they kicked that door open, it opened up Pandora's box.
Well, it was. I think it was right around the same time as I was finally able to file taxes with my husband, and we went. I went to the one and only gay pride parade I've ever been to, and I'm before I was married, I was a polyamorous person, and I was actually living with two dudes. What? What's that?
You're just a slut.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I was living with two dudes. We were in a relationship, all three of us. And then we went to this, because the younger fella, he wanted to go to gay pride. This was I was in my early 20s. And they had like the eunuchs, and they're wearing like G-strings. We didn't have naked people back then. That came after. But I wasn't okay with any of it. And I made it very well known. And I never went to another gay pride parade, and I don't agree with any of that.
You're a self-hating gay man, sir.
Hey,
No.
Resla or OG, I put a thing in the chat in the back.
Nope, just don't think that fat dude or any dudes should be dancing around in G-strings in front of kids.
That's self-hating, sir, in today's world.
Then that's what I am then.
All right, give me a second, Marcus.
That shit was crazy, bro. When I read it, I was like, "What?"
Okay.
She's
Yeah, I just saw it.
The only ones I see. Yeah, bro, you can bring up either one of them if you want to.
Okay.
Is this one of? Is she one of the ones that's in the like top 3 of the LA Fire Department?
I don't know. I don't know if she is a fire department, but she.
Please tell me it's the one.
Yeah, she's in the fire department.
She was.
Well, was, yeah.
Is this the one where she says that if you're in a position where you have to have her drag you to the house, then oh well?
No.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That was the black
video.
one. It was a black lesbian and 2 white ones.
We begin with breaking news at 11 o'clock. A stunning new twist in the disturbing murder of CAL FIRE Captain Rebecca Morodi, who was found stabbed to death earlier this week in her home in Ramona. Investigators now believe her wife, Yolanda Alina Jack Marodi is a person who stabbed Rebecca Marodi to death before possibly fleeing to Mexico. The stunning new twist in this case has to do with
this is the
Yolanda
fourth one.
Marodi's past. We have learned she spent 11 years in prison for the stabbing death of her then husband. Yolanda served her time, and upon release, she later met Cal Fire Captain Rebecca Marodi, and the pair were married 2 years ago. California investigators say that they are working with Mexico to find Yolanda Alina Jack Marodi and bring her back to the U.S. to face charges in this case.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7.
You know, you don't hear about domestic violence and divorce studies anymore.
Well, actually,
again,
for a reason.
the statistics on same-sex violence is that like 80% of same-sex, I don't know the actual number, but like a very large majority, like 60 to 80% of lesbian relationships, there's violence, and it's like 15 to 20 for men.
Yeah, but that's why, and divorce rates among them are also the highest of anybody.
There's no domestic violence amongst men, because if I hit you, you might not get back up. That's the way it is. So
yeah,
because they're weak,
they don't talk about divorce rates anymore because they now have to add in gay couples' divorce rates.
I don't think we get divorced nearly as much.
Lesbians get divorced more than anybody.
I very rarely have ever seen a gay couple get divorced. Very rare.
Well, gay couples don't lesbians get the most domestic violence cases or charges?
That's what we just said. Yeah.
My bad. I was watching BET's a game. My bad.
That's all right. I'm high as shit.
All right, appreciate you. And medicinal marijuana.
No marijuana, cannabis, disrespect.
No slander, all right?
Yes,
I'm a disabled person. I have to have it.
That's right.
In 2019, 72% of same-sex couple divorces were from lesbian couples.
Yep, I knew. So I knew it was almost
between
80.
2005 and 2015. 30% of lesbian marriages ended in divorce, compared to 15% of gay marriages.
Yep, I knew I was close. Yep.
Yeah.
So let's check this out. Let's see what's going on here.
No sound off that, bro.
No sound? You said no sound? Okay, give me a moment here. Boom. Let's try this again.
What's the content creator's name again?
Why?
I don't know. I just want to know who we're looking at, man. I just want to know the feel, man.
Taking a shine? Is that what it is?
I just want to know who we're talking to, or who we're listening to before you play to your audience.
All right. Maybe you should give her a name.
What is her name, or his name, or their name, or what? I don't know who the fuck you're talking about, Rez.
I gotta get this out the way. Hold on, give me a second.
Forgery. The potato salad was a forgery.
Right. Always showing support to the D.B.D. I'm about to send the rest of them, about to split and throw rest or something right now. Appreciate you. Go ahead.
Elon Musk and the Doge boys have gotten right to work investigating all of the ridiculous expenses and grants handed out by the federal government and gutting what's unnecessary. This is all waste that their team says they've found while auditing the agencies, some of which many Americans didn't know existed. First, we've got $100,000 to study if tequila or gin makes sunfish more aggressive. My bet is tequila. Almost $1 million to study if cocaine makes Japanese quail more sexually promiscuous. $750,000 to study if the moon landing line was, quote, one small step for man, or, quote, one small step for a man.
One step for man, one
The study was inconclusive. $1.5 million to Game On New York to expand the video gaming industry. Oh, no. No. Objection. We're not doing that. $388,000 to Columbia University. Here's a quick refresher on the high-level academics happening up at Columbia. Last time I checked, they have an enormous endowment fund, so I'm really not sure why the taxpayer is helping them out. $45 million for a diversity and inclusion scholarship in Burma. $3 million for girl-centered climate action in Brazil. $289,000 for diverse birdwatcher groups. Note, this is not about the observation of exotic bird species. This is for diversity among the avian aficionados themselves, because bird watchers who are all white, I mean, that's a huge problem, you see? $28 million on licensing fees for a green camouflage pattern on Afghan National Army uniforms. $2.5 million on a Super Bowl ad for the census. The National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York received a $1.7 million grant for holograms of dead comedians. Like, it's not that we're against cultural enrichment, but that's an obscene amount of money for something like that. Like, who's signing off on that? Poll the taxpayer. How much do you want a hologram of Lucille Ball? Like, how badly? Time for the racism spending section. In 2024 alone, the federal government allowed the National Institutes of Health to spend $125,000 on examining anti-racist healing in nature, $151,000 on perceived racism, cardiovascular disease risk, and neurocognitive aging, and $516,000 on effects of racism on brain and pathways to health disparities. And that doesn't include the $611,000 allocated to evaluating microaggressions among Latinx individuals with obesity. Wow, that's like a identity politics salad. $6.9 million paid to study smart toilets that recognize the user's anal print. And don't worry, we're assured that your data from your behind will be stored in a secure cloud. $1.5 million to use kittens in a study to analyze motion sickness. How are the two related? I don't know. $419,000 to determine if lonely rats sought cocaine at a greater frequency than happy rats. I mean, this is essential research. $2.3 million for the NIH to inject dogs with cocaine. Okay, where's PETA? Where is PETA when you need them? $75,000 for a Harvard study on lizards being blown off trees with leaf blowers.
Harvard researchers wanted to know how tropical lizards survive hurricanes.
So they came up with a plan to use a high-tech device, a leaf blower, to observe how lizards hold onto a pole during intense winds.
You know, I really do feel for the lizards. That's terrible. In 2024 alone, the State Department spent $2.1 million on border security. Okay, good. For Paraguay, USAID dropped $20 million on Alon Sim Sim, a Sesame Street-style show for Iraqi children.
What the hell?
And there was $123,000 sent to Pakistan to teach children how to go viral on social media. Oh, great.
That song was catchy, though. I don't care what y'all say.
Yep.
Get the hell
The
out of
National
here,
Endowment
Ball.
for the Arts awarded Philadelphia's Bearded
Nigga,
Ladies
out, boy,
Cabaret.
say,
Bearded
you ain't gonna let
Ladies
your kids
Cabaret.
listen to that.
A
Hell no.
$10,000 grant to support a cabaret show on ice focused on climate change. And the State Department spent $4.8 million of your hard-earned money on influencers. Yeah, we really need more influencers. All right, now we've got to talk about the Politico subscriptions. Here's what the legacy media labeled right-wing conspiracy theories.
I can confirm that the more than 8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico on the American taxpayers' dime will no longer be happening. The Doge team is working on canceling those payments now.
CNN called Caroline Leavitt's claim bogus. Then one sentence later, they cleared up any misconceptions. All federal agencies combined spent $8.2 million last year on Politico Pro, according to usaspending.gov. So yes, Politico received $8.2 million in taxpayer dollars. This is the same Politico that published the story about 51 intelligence officials who called the Hunter Biden laptop Russian disinformation. It's the same Politico that called Joe Biden's aviator sunglasses his diplomatic luck charm. Would they have been so kind to Biden and his family if millions in annual subscriber revenue weren't on the line? Can't say for sure. It was also discovered that NASA had some of these Politico Pro subscriptions as well, 500,000 worth, until Doge assured these were canceled as well. Doge also found some waste, probably a lot, at the Department of Education, whose days may be numbered. They tweeted out, instead of improving outcomes for students, here's where taxpayer dollars were going. $4.6 million to coordinate Zoom and in-person meetings, and $3 million to write a report that showed that prior reports were not utilized by schools. These are just some of the wild, wasteful government spending that's been gutted by Doge. Here's the grand total, and we aren't even a month in. Now let's turn to the portion of the program where we cover the inefficiency in our federal government, from accounting incompetencies to abysmal workplace occupancies. The Pentagon failed 7 audits in a row between improper payments to federal programs, pandemic relief, and Ukraine aid. The Pentagon cannot account for more than $824 billion spent. Billion with a B. Agencies are also paying for massive headquarters space when many federal employees have been working from home for almost 5 years now. Quote, agencies are using on average just 12% of the space in their DC headquarters. For example, the Department of Agriculture, with space for more than 7,400 people, averaged 456 workers each day. That's 6% occupancy? Not anymore. On day one of his admin, President Trump declared, heads of all departments and agencies in the executive branch of government shall, as soon as practicable, take all necessary steps to terminate remote work arrangements and require employees to return to work in person at their respective duty stations on a full-time basis. This was met, pretty predictably, with some backlash. The narrative now is that the senior and skilled employees will leave, and the federal government won't know what to do. The Hill cited past return-to-work policies to suggest that, if history is any indication, this sweeping policy, along with the smooth off-ramp of sweeping government employee buyout, could usher in a new wave of resignations that would undermine the very efficiency it seeks to enhance. But that's just the point. The White House is hoping for 5 to 10% of employees to resign. 4% took the buyout option, and Trump is headed toward more layoffs. And when asked about that senior and skilled idea, Caroline Levitt had a great response.
Is there any concern that we risk losing people with years of experience like doctors and let's say scientists?
Well, most doctors who work in actual hospitals and medical institutions have to show up to the office. We know that employees are more productive and more efficient when they are working in an in-office environment. And that's what this administration expects. And I think that's what American taxpayers expect. Don't forget, it's the American people who are funding this government, and they deserve people who are actually showing up to work on their behalf.
And a lot of this waste and excess in government agencies is being found by kids. Genius engineers, some of them college dropouts. For more on that, click here.
That's crazy. Not surprised at all, though.
No. And how lizards survive hurricanes, they probably go to the ground.
Yeah, because of the wind taking them off of the tree. Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's literally nothing stalking and hunting them on the ground during a hurricane. So they're safe there. They probably crawl under something and just stay there.
So did all that money go to you, man?
I just don't think that we need to know the answer to some questions. Some questions don't need answers.
No, that's a fact.
Come on. We have to know if tequila or vodka, which one makes fish more aggressive.
I'm for sure positive that we didn't need to know that.
I think we would, sir.
Nope,
Could the fish ever evolve to buy alcohol?
Come on now. We have to serve that. We have to solve that whole term being used, drinking like a fish. We have to solve it.
Yep.
We have to.
Yep.
That, or we have to prepare for all the phishing schemes out there.
Yep.
I think that it was interesting that the most what was your guys' reaction to the Sesame Street thing? Why did you guys react that way? Was it because they had some kind of weird character there that didn't look like Sesame Street, and then it looked like the characters from the real Sesame Street were like doing a Piers Morgan show where they were like calling it in video chat? Because that's what got me.
That we would spend $20 million on it.
Oh, that's good money. You guys, I don't remember which auditor it was, but it was in England, and he went to this weird place, and it was actually I think it was Al Jazeera broadcasting station to broadcast to Afghanistan or something like that, and they like made a big deal of him recording outside of there, but then he found out what it was, and then he understood why. So I think there's a lot more of that going on that we don't know about. Like Buddy said, that's only been a couple weeks.
BBC itself is a scam. They found.
Oh yeah.
Doge found we were funding BBC.
Yeah, like 8% of their funding or some nonsense.
Yeah, yeah.
Of all their funding, 8%.
And the BBC is a public corporation owned by the people. It's not
Obviously not
private television station like we have here. It's literally the state television of England.
With the same exact talking points as CNN.
Mm-hmm.
It's very detrimental for democracy.
Well, and you know Politico is going to take an $8.2 million hit on those subscriptions.
Well, they could get their next $8 million from George Soros.
Well, oh no, we were paying him too, Mama.
Yeah, they paid. I think it was $40 million they gave to the Soros Defense Fund.
Yeah.
So while the government was trying to prosecute him, the government also paid for his defense.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Oh yeah, and we're paying for his donations to corrupt prosecutors.
It's almost like they do this on purpose to get certain laws and case laws put into place, almost like they're gaming the system. Pay both sides, you get the decision you want, right?
Well, all they got to do is, because, you always hear the left TV say that crime has dropped in New York. No. Charges have dropped in New York. The crimes are still being committed at a larger rate. It's just they're not charging people, or they're lowering the felony charges down to misdemeanors. Because Soros put billions into these DA races. That literally just let criminals run fucking wild in the cities.
Mm-hmm. In every major city in America.
Racists.
Is it a do the leadership of those cities have something in common that I missed?
Yeah, they all got videos of them doing things they shouldn't have been doing. I just find it funny because
not wind up in prison after their term or get taken out of their term to go to prison.
Eric Adams was all, the immigrants, we love them, they're the greatest, and now all of a sudden he's not. I find that very interesting, and then he's not accountable for any of it.
Well, yeah, because he went to Biden with his hat in his hand and asked him to pay for it. He said, fuck you. And then just for going and asking and speaking out against Biden, they charged him on shit that they've had for years. They literally sit on stuff in cases for certain people.
Yep.
To destroy them. I literally, if you've ever watched House of Cards, the Netflix series, I think that's the way Washington works. I have no doubt that that's the way it actually works. They get something on you, and you either bend to their will, bow out and retire, or they release it and destroy you that way.
Yep. You ever see Damages with Glenn Close? Which was, you ever see Damages with Glenn Close? It was the precursor to House of Cards.
Oh yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
When you finally get to see the end, you're like, what? Well, it all makes sense now, right?
Yep.
The funny thing is this Doge thing. Everybody kept asking me for 6 years because I used to do shows a long time ago. I don't do many anymore. And they'd be like, well, what's your explanation? Like when I'm doing 18 hours of screaming about the government with a bunch of auditors and stuff. And I was like, there's only one way to fix it. 100% accountability. You need a seeker of truth to go in there, go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and expose everything.
And it's really hard to corrupt the richest man in the world.
But it's happening right in front of my eyes. What I said was the only way to fix it. It's weird watching it happen. Never. If you asked me 5 years ago if this could happen now, I'd say no. Never, ever.
Oh no. But if Congress doesn't get behind them, they're just going to ramp it back up. The next Democrat gets in office, or even a Republican gets in office, if we get the wrong one. We all know that whole scheme is about buying votes and making politicians rich.
Well, we know that.
Because all those NGOs they're going to come up with, all these congressmen are on their boards and they're all paid positions. And I guarantee you half that money goes to kickbacks.
I want to see people in chains. Most people do.
Oh, yeah.
We all knew it was happening. We just couldn't prove it.
I don't care if they find out Ron Paul took fucking payoffs. Throw his ass in jail,
he can go down too. Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
But you know what? That Gates thing, because I've looked into that Matt Gates thing very, very deeply. Very deeply.
Dude, that was a classic fucking honeypot scandal.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. They set that whole fucking thing up.
Was charged with working with the government to falsify documents, somehow got hooked up with a girl that was involved in trafficking the falsified documents, that ended up with Bill Gates with a fake ID that came from the person that was charged for being involved with the government supplying fake documents. It's weird. It's like,
and it was a guy who filed false charges against his political rival, who supposedly slept with an underage girl.
Yep, it's funny.
I mean, but and look where Matt Gaetz is now. He's not in Congress.
Yep.
He's not in charge of the DOJ.
I don't know why he didn't. I don't know why he stepped down.
Because he was guilty.
True, but he didn't know.
Yes, he did. He knows he's guilty.
No, he didn't know that the person was underage. She had a fake ID.
It doesn't matter. In the law in the United States, it does not matter.
Yeah, it does.
Which is a massive fucking.
But do you think that, like, Mayo, don't you think that should be changed though? And don't you think that should be regulated better?
I totally do, but right now it's not.
No, it should be. If you're at a bar, and that person they show you their ID. I'm not supposed to be in.
Can you say bar again real quick? I know your Canadian came out, but can you say bar one more time?
Bar.
All right, just making sure. Just go ahead. Continue, please.
Go fuck yourself.
No, that should be changed. I was amazed when they did the Romeo and Juliet laws.
I think that because I'm a tech, right? And I met my husband on Grindr 10 years ago. I've spent a lot of time on gay chat apps. And anytime anybody ever messaged me and they told me that they were under the age of 18, they got blocked immediately. But I think that if your child is over the age of like 15 or over, and because you can tell if somebody is usually under 15, but I'm saying if they're hooking up with people on chat apps, you're just as responsible as the person that they're hooking up with. If you can't keep control of your kids' devices and stuff like that, and they're on Grindr at 15 at 3 o'clock in the morning, sneaking into your house, sorry,
See,
you should have some type of responsibility for that.
We got a problem here in the U.S. where a lot of kids are being raised by their grandparents who are tech deficient.
I get you.
You know.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they're just finally looking at taking cell phones away from students during class.
Reap what you sow.
Which is ridiculous that they're finally going to do this. Because when I was a kid, remember when they came up with those little fucking digital pets?
Tamagotchis. Yep.
Yeah. As soon as those things were released,
the
first time one beeped in a class, they were banned from the fucking school.
Yep. What would you think if they brought a nationwide ban, just like they did in Australia, for Canada and America, that any children under the age of 16 would not be allowed to be on social media?
I'm all for that.
Yep. I don't think that you should be allowed to show your children's pictures on Facebook either. None of that stuff. None of that private stuff should be public. It shouldn't be there for everybody to just look at.
Well, that video we watched earlier, with the special needs kid, that, you know, his parents put his pictures out there, and people are going to do what people are going to do. They're going to pick at shit that makes them uncomfortable. And this kid made people very uncomfortable.
Yeah, but don't you think that's crazy though? That people nowadays got to post where you go eat or where you go have fun. Like it's like a validation thing. It's like a status thing. It's like if you don't do this, if you don't go to the pumpkin patch, you're not part of the cool crowd or some shit, like the trend of it, you know.
But they're posting the lives they want other people to perceive they have.
True.
Which to me is like really weird.
I think it's a lack of self-satisfaction, satisfaction in their life, and like they feel like they need to if they don't do it, like they feel like they're left behind or some shit. Like they feel like, oh, because we're doing it, you know, we're included too in this too. Like so, it's not just you guys. It's, you know, we're all doing this. Let's all be a part of the trend real quick. Like we gotta be the followers.
When Facebook was brand new, you know, I'm a tech, so I went through everybody a bunch of different people that I knew, and made them all take down my pictures because they all had like my school pictures and stuff.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's just weird the things that people want to share, because let's admit it's a brag. It's either a brag or a plead for victimhood. That's all social media is for a lot of people. You know, look how bad I've got it. Look how good I've got it. There's not much in between.
I just come here to try to make jokes.
I tried to, but somebody cussed me out earlier. So
I used to be a really bad man. I used to do bad things. Try to be nice and make jokes now.
I'm still a bad man. And the person that hates me the most are usually parents. Because I don't judge their kids. I don't judge their kids as kids. I judge them as little human beings. I have no emotional attachment to them.
Do you have kids?
No.
Oh, I see. Me neither.
But I judge them as little human beings. If your kid's an asshole, I'm going to tell you your kid's an asshole.
Yes. Yep.
And that's something parents don't like to hear.
Sometimes
because
parents
little,
are assholes
little
too.
Johnny's a special little snowflake.
Usually, if the kids are assholes, because the parents are assholes.
Oh yeah.
So
it's a learned behavior.
See, it ain't no fun when nobody's up here trolling. Our heart rates are down at a normal.
Hey, but it needs those trolls, man.
Good, we good. I'm about to okay. All right, so we in here. Hey man, we appreciate everybody coming through the drive-by discussions, man. We at the 2 hour and 30 mark. We usually make it to 3 hours, man, but I'm gonna cut it short a little bit tonight. Y'all make sure y'all go check out Resla tomorrow. I think he gonna be doing the show. Y'all make sure y'all stop by there, you know what I'm saying? Hit the like button. Make sure you share it out, you know what I'm saying? If you got a community post, put them in the community post. I will start putting stuff in mine. I said I was going to do it. I just ain't really had nothing to put in there but my shows. But I will be having my Discord link. If you need any other information for OGDoDirty, you can look in the description. It's in there if you want to follow me on any other platforms. What you got for him, Resla?
Not much. We'll be doing a show for tomorrow, and then we'll see if we're going to be doing anything for Saturday. Outside of that, pay attention to what's going on with me, with OG, and other people that we got going on. I'll be putting a lot of stuff in my community posts, especially the channels that I'm visiting or people that I just really think you should really check it out according to their channels. So, yeah. Outside of that, take us home, man.
Hey, man. Appreciate y'all coming through, man. We out of here.
Truck, rolling through the block, trolling through the blockchain, slinging heavy clout, spitting on the mic, what's the latest, what's about? Politicians stripping headlines, flipping out in the heart of the South, where the whispers turn to shouts. Meetings in the shadows, hustlers making plans, deals going down, gripping tight, shaking hands. City buzzing loud, news dap in demand. Dirty South vibe, deep roots, dirty land. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or tell the sin. Dirty South, live a thick skin. Rappers on the come up, topics in their rhymes. Truth spilling raw, cutting through the grime. Events popping off, party scenes in their prime. Southern nights wild, about to lose track of time. Headlines breaking, cities heart be racing. Discussions, heavy heads nodding syncopation. From the bodega gossip to the mayor's dictation. Southside stories, raw truth, no hesitation. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or tell the sin. Dirty South, live a thick skin. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or tell the sin. Dirty South, live a thick skin. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or tell the sin. Dirty South, live a thick skin. South living, thick skin. Dirty South living, thick skin. Rappers on the come up, topics in their rhymes. Truth spilling raw, cutting through the grime. Events popping off, party scenes in their prime. Southern nights wild, about to lose track of time. Headlines breaking, cities heart be racing. Discussions, heavy heads nodding syncopation. From the bodega gossip to the mayor's dictation. Southside stories, raw truth, no hesitation. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin. Crime on the rise, truth or tell the sin. Dirty South, live a thick skin. Drop by, chopping up, news flying in the wind. Talk about the biz, who's winning, who will spin.